on for the first session.
Okay.
We're good?
Hit it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, thank you for coming. I'm sorry your first experience didn't work out as you had anticipated.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're here in person,
So
now you have the booklets, and this will be a more intimate one-on-one session.
Just sit down and.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just talk
whip
about
through
it. This is Milan, he is our
You know what?
representative.
I had these two Fitbits for the crew, and I would have asked questions, but these two ladies.
Oh,
showed up.
for showing up.
They-
Right.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh,
Great,
great,
thank you.
Nice presents.
Yes. Hey.
This is Kim, she's from
Hi.
Brandon Benefits.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
you. Nice to meet you both as well.
And before we talk about the income plan and the changes to the plan, couple of open enrollment announcements. One is Delta Dental we're keeping, but they did increase the rates a little bit. Single person is an additional 25 cents a pay period, so you might not even recognize that if you're, going into PeopleSoft for open enrollment. Two person is 55 cents, 75 cents for the family. So not huge dollars, but just so that you know, we did increase a little bit.
And still 14 a year.
So 14 years. Hi, Nan.
Hi, Kathy.
Are you here for our presentation?
Yes, I
Oh,
am.
fantastic.
You can get in the front row.
Come sit with us.
All right.
I'm
Nancy, we're
I'm
speaker
very
with us.
nice.
I
Make it
figured I
personal.
should be here.
I was just saying, Nancy, the dental increased a little bit. That's okay. So for a two-person dental plan, it went up an additional 55 cents a pay period.
Okay.
Not huge dollars. We're also contemplating switching our flexible spending carrier to a vendor, but we're not certain about that yet. We will, of course, get that information out to you as soon as we know. It'll work exactly the same way it does now. You'll just be sending receipts to someone else, or getting correspondence from someone else. Did everyone sign up for biometric screening? You don't have to tell me, but if not, if you forgot, you can still.
We can have our physicians if we have a
Absolutely.
test one, yeah.
All right, thank you. Awesome. I'm gonna turn it over to Milan. And we can talk about a new plan.
And we'll make it interesting because PowerPoint presentations sometimes don't get you exactly what you want. But I'm certainly glad to be here in front of you to help you understand this new product. It's a really good product and we're excited, and Easter Seals is excited as well. And I'll show you, I'll walk you through it. You already know who Anthem is. You have had Anthem for the past few years. You know that we're one of the biggest insurance companies in the United States, as well as we are the biggest in New Hampshire. Our network, the network we have utilized up to today, will be the same going forward. So New England, any Blue Cross Blue Shield provider that participates with us in New England is available to you. So on agenda we had today that we're going to talk about this new product 2015 that's going to be effective July 1st. We're also going to talk about and show you some examples and walk you through what you could expect if you were in situations like some of the examples we have created. And also we had some tips and resources available for you. So as we already know, there's going to be a new product for July 1st. And in the next few slides, we'll certainly explain to you what the product is, what are the code base, what's the networks, and so on and so on. The good thing about it is many current plan features still exist, and there's a lot of things that are actually better than what you currently have, which usually you do not see that.
Ladies, can I interject?
Yes.
one, sir? You all are currently on the insurance, correct? Okay.
So you might ask yourself, why did we move to this plan? Why didn't we keep the same plan as we had? If we were to keep the same plan as we had, there had to be some increases in cost, and the majority of Easter Seals staff did not want to increase any of your weekly contributions, which is usually not the thing I see with other companies. The things I see with other companies is, okay, I'm getting 10% increase, just push it over to employees, have them pay that 10% or have them absorb that cost. With Easter Seals, actually, their major goal was keep the weekly contributions the same. And when Kathy actually yesterday or today told me that your weekly contributions have not changed for the past 3 years, that was shocking
Finally.
for medical plans, because every year I see with other companies, bigger companies than you, I see that cost going up at least between 5 to 10%. With you guys having that same with the contributions and pretty much keeping this very same plan for over past 3 years, that's phenomenal. But some of the other reasons for to better manage the cost of healthcare services, healthcare is increasing every year between 9 to 10%. Just cost of doing business. That's literally what the increase is. We also wanted to give you choices for both your healthcare team and your out-of-pocket costs. So the major thing was to keep the costs and deductibles and co-payments very similar, but also give you opportunity to save some extra money. Also, majority of the employers have realized that at some point you're going to have to start looking at which providers are cost effective and also provide the best care versus those that are not cost effective, and try to utilize those providers. And many employers have started to do that. So it's certainly good to have options, and you certainly will have options going July 1st. And the good thing about it, this is not two different plans. You will see later when I show you. It is still one plan, but inside that plan, you almost have two different options the way you want to do. It's you're almost a driver of the plan based on what you want to pay out of your pocket. So you still have access, like I said, to our largest New England network of doctors, same network as you had. Your prescription drug coverage, and I'm glad to mention this, that your prescription drug coverage has not changed. So it's still going to be 10, 30, 50, depending. So that's not changing at all. You're still going to have free preventive care. You're going to have annual checkups and vaccination. Also, there's health and wellness options and tools available as well in the plan. So some of the key terms before we go into the plan is deductible. I think majority of you know what deductible is. It's the amount you pay each year before your plan starts to pay any coverage. It's almost like your car insurance. You get in an accident, you have to pay that deductible before the body shop fixes your car. Co-payment is a flat fee that you pay at the visit when you visit your doctor or your specialist. For insurance is your share of health plan costs after you satisfy your deductible. As you probably know that currently you have $2,000 deductible. Then once you reach that $2,000 deductible, then there's that 90-10 split. So that's what that co-insurance is. Out-of-pocket maximum. This is actually brand new. This is going to be brand new for you July 1st. You haven't had this. What this is, it's actually putting a limit on how much you as a member can pay out of your pocket in a plan year. This hasn't been implemented before. This came through healthcare reforms, where healthcare reform states now you have to have insurance companies. You have to have a dollar maximum amount that the member can pay. And any co-payments, meaning prescription co-payments, office co-payments, specialist co-payments, deductibles for insurance. You cannot pay more than that amount. And once you reach that amount, then everything is covered at the full. So you're not paying anything. You literally stop paying all co-payments after that amount. And I'll show you what that is for you. And premiums is just what you pay for out of your check. So this new product is called H Mobile New England Choice. And there are some important features that you should certainly remember. And one of them is this PCP selection and PCP referral will be required. Currently, under your current plan, you do have to have a primary care doctor on the file, but you don't have to have a primary care doctor refer you to a specialist. But going forward, you will have to. And to be honest, majority of your doctors are already doing it, because 85 to 90% of the plan designs we sell in New Hampshire are plans that do require secret referrals. So the providers and doctors are already used to referring, so they're already doing this behind the scenes. You probably don't even know. But it is important to note that going forward, effective July 1st, if you want to go see a specialist, your primary care doctor will have to refer you.
So can I ask a question?
Yes.
So say if you, the doctor says, well, I need you to see a dermatologist, do they get to pick which one you go to, or can you still pick which one you want to go to within that network?
Yes, you can pick.
So as long as the doctor said you have to see a, dermatologist, a surgeon, or
And-
whatever, then you can still pick which one it is.
So you would
want
tell
to
the
go to.
doctor, yes, this is great. I would like to see such and such specialty, please refer me to such and such specialist. And they would go to their normal practices and refer you to that specialty.
Thanks.
Some of the doctors might want you to stay at the hospital because that's who they work for, so they
Right.
want to keep the business in the hospital, but you do have a right to ask for them to refer you to.
That specialty copay is the same on both sides of the tier 1, tier 2.
So we already kind of touched base on this annual out-of-pocket limit, so this is the maximum you can pay in a plan year. For a single is $6,600, and for a family it's $13,200. So in essence, let's say you paid your deductible, your co-payments, and you add it up to this amount. The moment you go over this amount, then you stop paying anything. The major change this year in the plan is going to be this part here that says new two-tier benefit plan design. Once again, I do want to point out this is not two different plan designs. It's one plan design, but the hospitals are tiered between tier 1 and tier 2. As long as you stay and you want to visit, it's your choice which hospital you want to go. You do not have to choose at the beginning. You can choose or go anytime. It doesn't really matter, but it's in your best interest to stay at tier 1 facilities because you will see a lower co-payments, lower deductibles, and a lot better coverage. Same features still exist. Preventive care is still covered 100%. You still have the network of Blue Cross Blue Shield in New England. You still have those no-cost laboratories. Have you guys used these no-cost? Continue using those because you're saving a lot of money. A lot of money because the average cost of lab is about $350. So imagine if you went to a hospital to get it done, you would have paid $300 because you're deductible. So
Last year when I went just for my normal physical and blood work was $811.
Yeah.
My blood work, and I couldn't believe it.
and you save yourself if you go to these. That's almost your vacation when you think about it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if you know about Compass Smart Shopper program. That still is going to exist, and you can still utilize and call them to get those rewards. So now we're going to go over and I'll show you what your co-payments are at tier 1, what your co-payments are at tier 2. This is just a quick overview. In your booklets, you're going to have a big summary of benefits so you can take a look at it. So right out of the get-go, you can see why you would want to stay at tier 1. You would pay $15 for a PCP if you stay at tier 1. And as you know right now, at this point in time, you're paying $25. So if you go to tier 2 facility or a tier 2 provider, you pay $30. Specialist, it's $40. So it's even cheaper this year going because right now you're paying $50. Specialist at tier 2 is $40. So that's the same. The $125 co-payment, this is for the ambulatory surgical centers, those outpatient surgery centers. This did go slightly up, but it's still a lot of better deal than getting the surgeries done at the hospital. So for example, your child plays soccer and they just torn their knee and they need to have a knee scope. I would encourage you to look at these ambulatory surgical centers because all you're going to pay is that $125 and that's it. But if you take a child to a hospital, you would have to pay your deductible. So, and the list of those ambulatory surgical centers is going to be in your booklet. So we made it really simple for you. When you leave today, you're going to have everything you need double. Your deductible in this tier 1 is $2,000, same as today. Your family deductible is $4,000, same as today. But in tier 2, look, your deductible has doubled and your family deductible has also doubled. So this is another way why you would try to stay at tier 1. It's of your choice. We're not telling you you have to choose tier 1 hospital and be there. It's your choice. We're just saying we're giving you a lot of a better benefit if you utilize the facilities at tier 1 versus tier 2, but you have the choice to make that decision. One good thing, as you can see, currently, today, there is a coinsurance level after the deductible. Going forward, July 1st in tier 1, no. So that that's a big saving. If you needed to have that surgery, you would save that. But in tier two, there is coinsurance still exists. Copays for emergency room are $250 for each and $125 for urgent care on each. So that there's no difference between those. So just looking at these, you can see, whoa, I could really save myself a lot of money by just paying close attention and utilizing the hospitals in those tier one versus tier two. So now let's just look at which hospitals are in tier one versus tier two. Tier one, actually both tiers have the same amount of hospitals. It's 13 hospitals between tiers, and pretty much they're spread evenly. When we did the spread, we used the constant quality of facilities. So we looked at it, okay, so what is the facility? So for example, we looked at Alice Beck Day Memorial Hospital. You know, their pricing is this, but their quality had to also satisfy our needs to be in tier one. So we tiered it based on those two. I think it's kind of hard to see if you're looking at the list because you're thinking, where is this hospital? Where is that? I did this for you, so you can easily see where each hospital. So if you live in Hillsborough County, so literally you have Elliott is in tier one, so you can utilize Elliott as the facility for any MRI surgeries or anything like that. If you also, I think, Nashua is in Hillsborough, right? So,
Yes.
so you have, in Nashua, you have both Southern Medical Center Hospital and St. Joseph Hospital, both in tier two. If you live on tier one, sorry. Right? If you live in Rockingham, like I do personally, I could utilize Portsmouth Hospital. I could utilize Derry. Both of them are in my tier one.
But you don't, like, just because you live in Rockingham County, you use the Elliott.
Exactly.
Whatever. Oh,
I'm
okay,
just
yeah.
saying
All right.
what's closer to my house, and
Yeah.
and that's the point. We want to make sure that people don't just stick with their local, because sometimes your local hospital is not that cheapest ones, and it's not that best quality that you can get. Depending where you live. Oh, sorry. So this is that's the tier one. Tier two hospitals are those. And the interesting fact, and I'll switch between tier one and tier two maps. Look at this. So this is tier one. Look, it's almost all tier one hospitals are down Saturn. Check this out. Look how it moves up. So as you go northern past Concord, everything is more expensive. And that's why this map actually shows it very clear enough. Look, all those tier two hospitals are already northern because they're a lot more costly hospitals. And also living up in Coos County is a lot more expensive than living down here. And people make those choices to live up there, So which hospitals do you ladies usually? So in your example, you would be tier one and you would be utilizing those lower costs. How about you?
I live in Elliott, but what if I was on vacation in California, looking things are on my wrist? Would that would automatically be into tier two?
No, it would be actually emergency services because we thought about that when we designed the program. We said, how can we tell people which hospital to go to in emergency because you don't. So we made emergency all pay at tier one. So if
If
you're,
you have a car accident, the ambulance takes you to Catholic Medical Center.
as long as if they treat you in an emergency room and stabilize you and let you go home, that's going to be paid at tier two. If they admit you, tier one, sorry. Right? If they admit you and you have to stay at the hospital, whatever they did in an emergency room, we won't pay at tier one. But whatever from the point they admit you and on, depending on which hospital, which tier the hospital is, that's how it's going to be. But we understood that people in emergency situations don't have time, don't have, so that's why, no choice. That's why we said, we're going to all emergency services, meaning emergency room, x-rays, whatever they do while in emergency, we're going to pay them.
What happens though if you're on vacation and you have to get, God forbid, that you have a heart attack and they admit you?
It's going to be paid because if you're in Florida and you got a heart attack, we have to, even though that's not in your network, because your network is only in England,
Right.
we still have to, emergency situations, we have to cover as state.
And ladies, as a side note too, our life insurance does offer travel, like some travel planning assistance and extra stuff. Next time we're taking a vacation, call us and we can look. It's a free benefit, it's with your free life insurance, so some people have gotten a lot out of it. Yep.
Good to know.
So if you're currently utilizing a primary care doctor that is owned by a tier 2 hospital, and which there will be people, there will be people that are utilizing Dr. Hitchcock as their primary care doctor, and Dr. Hitchcock, as you can see that Dr. Hitchcock Medical Center is in tier 2. You can continue to utilize that doctor. It's at your discretion. Nobody's going to tell you no, you can't,
Right.
but you're going to pay that higher copay. But if you really, really like that primary care doctor and you didn't want to switch that primary care, you can, like I said, you can utilize it. But when something big comes up, then that's when you're going to have that discussion with your primary care doctor and say, doctor, I really would like to stay at this facility and get my MRI and my surgery, but under my plan, I'm going to pay a lot less if I utilize one of these other facilities. I would like you to refer me to such and such. Because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your deductible, and you're going to make that decision where you want, or if you want to pay, then it's great. In Massachusetts, in case you needed to go to Massachusetts and utilize their services, and this is going to be on the website. This is, as you can see, look how many hospitals they have down there. It's crazy. So I just wanted to list them, but you can see majority of the hospitals in Massachusetts are in tier 1. They do have these few hospitals in their tier 2. So if you, for example, went to Bay State Medical Center, you would have paid that higher copay. But majority of you, if you are going down to Massachusetts to seek care, you're going to be seeking it in the Boston area. So I wanted to show you here which Boston hospitals are in which tier. So Tufts Medical Center is in tier 1. So if you're getting any care done at Tufts Medical Center down in Boston, you would be tier 1. So you can just pay your tier 1 deductible. Beth Israel, tier 1. Boston Medical Center, and this is where majority actually of people do go. Boston Medical Center is tier 1. The Boston Children's Hospital is in tier 2. Mass General is in tier 2. Dana-Farber is in tier 2, and Birmingham is in
So
tier
is that even if you use the Dana-Farber here, like with the oncology unit that's set up with
Londonderry.
and Londonderry?
2. I would assume yes.
Just very
But that, depending on what services you're receiving there, like it might be a specialty service, in which case you would just pay the $40 copay. So it really depends on the kind of care you're receiving.
The Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts will be making some changes on January 1st, 2016, so it could change for the better. How about Connecticut, Vermont, Rhode Island, and Maine? If you live in those states or you seek care in those states, they actually, all of them, their doctors actually want. So if you needed to go to Maine Medical Center to get something done, you would actually be in tier 1. So that is another good news. And here's a couple examples we'll run through so you can see an actual how this plays out. And I actually used Beth and Kathy to make these examples. So I said Beth is utilizing services at tier 1. So she's going to tier 1 facility. So she saw her PCP doctor for back issues, and the cost of what doctor billed was $150. Then her doctor referred her to a specialist, and the cost of that specialist visit was $400. Then the specialist said, "Oh, I need you to do some lab work because I want to look at your blood." That was $250, and then finally after that, they decided that the vet needs to have a back surgery. So the cost of that back surgery was $20,000. So at the end of the day, vet had $20,800 in charges. So now down in red, what did she pay out of her pocket, right? So she paid $15 for that visit. That visit cost $150, but she only paid $15. So that's darn good. Then she paid $40 for that specialist copay, and she didn't pay a dime for the lab work because Beth was smart enough and decided to go to LabCorp across the town and get it done there. And then for that surgery, she utilized that Tier 1 hospital. She paid her deductible, which is $2,000, and deductible was satisfied. So at the end of the day, Beth paid $2,000 and $2,055 out of her pocket. The total cost was $20,000. So now, let's see what Beth would have paid for those same services if she went to Tier 2 facility. So same thing, PCP visit, referral to specialist, lab work, surgery at hospital. Total charge is $21,000 because Tier 2 hospitals are more expensive, so they charge more. So what did she pay? Beth paid $30 for copayment to see her primary care because this is Tier 2, now you pay a little more. She paid $40, the same as she did in Tier 1 for the specialist. She paid $0 for lab work because you will see that she already met her deductible with the surgery. But her deductible for Tier 2 was $4,000. And also she had that for insurance, as you remember. So she paid her deductible $4,000. Then she paid the remaining balance of 20% of 16, which was $2,600. So at the end of the day, she paid $6,600 just for going to a different hospital. In the other example, she only paid $2,000.
Can I ask a question? So, if she had gone to one of those one-day surgery centers, would it matter in Tier 1 or Tier 2, would there have been a?
She would have only paid $125.
They wouldn't do it at one of those meetings.
Oh, okay. But if they would, then you would even saving, and that wouldn't matter if it was Tier 1 or Tier 2.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bye. And that's why we say you have that Compass Smart Shoppers program. That's when you pick up the call and you call Compass and you say, I need to have this. This is where they want me to do. Where else can I get it done? And if you're 100% correct, if she went to Bedford Ambulatory Surgical Center, she would have paid $125, which means this $4,000 would have just wiped that.
I think an important piece to just remind you is that there are tools available to help you make decisions that might save costs to you. And whether you're choosing to go with a Tier 1 provider or a Tier 2 provider, those tools are still available. So the lab, like had she gone to a LabCorp, that lab would have been paid at 100% equal. And even though she was using Tier 2 providers.
So here's a summary scenario. See, those are total charges. That's how much she paid. Also, when she paid that, she satisfied her Tier 1 deductible. If she went to Tier 2, those were the charges. This is how much she paid. So look at that difference. And with that, she satisfied her annual limit. So like I said, in this particular example, Beth could have had saved a lot of money by utilizing Tier 1 facility provider. But once again, I'm going to stress the importance. It's at your discretion. We're not going to tell you you have to choose right at the beginning. As you go, you choose where you want. But one thing to keep in mind is that there is huge differences between Tier 2 and Tier 1. So that's why I put in the bottom. Remember, you are the provider of care. It is actually true because you're choosing where you want your services done because based on your cost. Here's another example. Do you want to run through this one?
Sure. So in this example, we're using Kathy, of course. She just left. She's utilizing services at a Tier 1 facility. The cost of services Kathy had at Tier 1, she went for a leg issue. She saw her PCP, it was $150. He referred her off to a specialist, that was $250. She needed some x-rays, $450. Then went on to me, didn't see what he wanted to see with the x-ray, he had to get an MRI, $2,000. Total cost of her services, $2,850. What did she pay? She's in a Tier 1 facility using a Tier 1 PCP. She paid $15 for the co-payment for the visit to the PCP, $40 for the co-payment to the visit to the specialist. She paid $0 for x-ray, because the deductible was already met. And $2,000 for MRI, that's the component where she met her deductible. Oftentimes, and I'm just gonna point this out because I've seen it happen, you may have gone for the x-ray first and you think, well, why is the x-ray 0 and the MRI, they took my deductible. Sometimes those claims come in first, and the way that the claim system processes, whichever one's coming in first, they're gonna pull it. Kathy's total out of pocket in this situation was $2,000 and $2,055, excuse me. So you can see, significant savings. Sorry. All right, so in this example, she's still utilizing tier 1 facility. She goes to see a physical therapist, charges $250. The specialist for their follow-up visit, $350. She needs crutches for her legs, for walking, $500.
I still don't know what kind of $500 purchase.
Yeah.
Actually, you'd be surprised because my daughter had knee surgery, had a ACL surgery, and the crutches were $450 for real.
I'll tell you,
And then I sold them afterwards on Craigslist.
Good for you.
just the regular cast that you can buy at Walmart, $25, that it has a 1,000% inflation when medical facility goes in. So that $15 turns into, $250 just.
That's true. So the total cost of her services in this example would have been $3,100. But let me show you what Kathy paid out. She paid $40 co-payment for a visit to the specialist for PT, $40 for a co-payment to the visit to the specialist who helped with the follow-up visit. She paid $0 for DME crutches because her deductible had been met. $0 for her follow-up MRI because again, her deductible had been met. So her total out of pocket here was $80.
One thing to point out, and I'll give you a curveball. She could have actually made money in this example, and I'll tell you how. If she called Compass when she went for that MRI, and Compass told her go here, and she did it, she would have gotten $150 back check from Compass. She paid $80 for their copays. She would have made $70. She could have taken her husband out for dinner. And who else pays you?
Taking myself out there.
And I'm asking, who else pays you money to get things done? That's what Compass is. So that's why I believe Compass, and that's why.
And again, that Compass is a tool that you can use whether you're working with a tier 1 facility or a tier 2 facility, or a tier 1 PCP or a tier 2 PCP. It doesn't
What
matter.
if you're referred to a place that's on the list for Compass?
It's great.
So
Yeah,
you
they will
don't get,
They will.
because I didn't
You
call
have to
them, I had
call
to
them,
surgery on my hand because I was going to Bedford Ambulatory Care and it was already on their list, so I didn't call them because it was an approved facility.
Yeah.
Why would I have called them?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The way that I can always look it up for you guys too, so
Oh,
if you need help,
okay.
I have like a fake demo login. But the caveat is a lot of times I'll sit with people and we'll look it up and, okay, if you go here, you're gonna get your mammogram. If you go here, you get this rebate. They have to hear from you and they have to hear from you ahead of time in order to give you that rebate. So even a lot of times when I look it up for people, go here, I always make it really clear. You have to call and
Yes.
give them the
I
heads.
thought it was only if you were, like, your doctor was referring you to a place that wasn't on their list. When I saw that it was, I didn't worry about it.
You did save money for sure.
Well,
You
yeah.
could have made some money.
Next time. Let's hope there's not a next
They're
time, right?
better not be. They're bad.
Okay. Do you want me to keep going?
Sure.
It's fine, okay. So Kathy's cost at a glance, we're just gonna go back over it. Example number 3, total cost of her services, $2,850. Her out of pocket, she paid out $2,000, $2,055 because her deductible has been satisfied now at this point. In example 4, total cost of services was $3,100. Kathy's out of pocket in that example, $80. That's primarily because her deductible has been met. So if Kathy chooses to continue using tier 1 hospitals, her deductible for the plan year now is completely satisfied, and she would only have to pay co-payments to her doctors or co-payments to an urgent care center.
And one thing
Emergency room.
I would like to point is deductibles do cross accumulate. So between tiers. So if, for example, in what Kathy has done, so she went for both times to tier one facilities, so she satisfied her $2,000 tier one deductible, but all of a sudden now she needed to get something at a tier two facility. And she went there, that $2,000 would have
It's
credited
already been filled.
towards her 4,000 tier two. So it does, or even vice versa. You could, let's say your first time utilizing the health plan was at tier two, and you paid that $4,000 deductible. Going forward, if you continue utilizing tier one facility, your deductible is already met. So there's nothing out of pocket for you. So it does cross accumulate.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about how you can save money with this program in particular. Sorry, no, it's okay. So you can utilize tier one hospitals. This is the most important piece. Utilize tier one hospitals and PCPs. And one of the things that drives the PCPs, and Milan had talked about this in an earlier presentation, is that the majority, about 85%, I think is the number, of primary care physicians in the state are owned by hospitals. So it's important to find out where your PCP is affiliated. Many can admit to multiple hospitals and do, but some are affiliated just with one particular hospital. So you're gonna want to check into that. You're gonna want to make sure that you are utilizing the no-cost labs. Those are covered in full. You all are well aware of them. Sounds like you've used them in the past. That's a good deal. Utilize urgent care or walk-in centers instead of the ER. It's a lower copayment than the emergency room copayment, specifically for non-life-threatening issues. Take advantage of the mail order prescription program. There's great savings to be had in that mail order program. You can get for, I think it's twice the cost, you can get up to a 90-day supply. Use generic prescriptions whenever possible. That's the least amount of your copay in the pharmacy program. Use the and then some other tools that we're highlighting. Again, we call them tools because they're really available to you, irregardless of the tiers that you're working in, and that they're always an opportunity for you to save money. Use the Compass Smart Shopper program. Use Anthem's online cost estimator tool and the 24-hour nurse line. Prescription drug plan, there's really not a whole lot to talk about because nothing has changed. It's exactly as it was last year, except that we would encourage you again to use the mail order whenever possible, and use generic whenever possible. Again, those are opportunities for you to have savings.
And that's about it. I mean, if you want to remember anything, is location, location, location. Is location is going to drive how much you're going to pay out of your pocket. So it's good to do your homework. It's good to keep this booklet, somewhere close by as you need to utilize services, because that booklet will have which hospital is in tier one, which hospital is in tier two. Vet Academy will have on their website how to find, utilizing our provider finder, how to find which provider is in which tier. Same thing for Massachusetts. So just, if you want to take anything out of this, is educate yourself on the benefits you have, because that education will save you a lot of money throughout the year. We all know we get stuck in situations where we don't have choices, but those are tough. But majority of our healthcare needs do have choices, so use those choices.
If you're looking for the summary of benefits in this booklet, it starts on page 11.
So that's in a nutshell what it is. The booklet does have a lot of information. You will see, spend some time, go through it. We'll see, it'll explain the no-cost labs. It'll show you where they are located. It'll also show you some of those ambulatory surgical centers, where they're located. There's some other great programs in there as well. So some discounts as well, all the way on the back, that you can utilize. But in a nutshell, that's what it is. So I would recommend between now and July, just educate yourself, talk to your doctor, which hospital they're participating with, which hospital they have made the right to, so you can make the right decisions after July 1st.
Just provide that so you guys can see. Do you have any questions for us or anything we can answer?
No, very informative presentation, very good, very much.
I love waving to the
Around.